Hey y'all, I am getting ready to make some gluten-free, soy-free, absolutely delicious sandwich bread that tastes like real bread. So if that's something you're interested in, let's get cooking. Okay, before we get started, I do want to show you something. It's this new pan that I've got. Make sure you can see it. This is called a Pullman pan, P-U-L-L-M-A-N, and I got mine from Amazon. The top comes off. You'll notice the holes in the bottom, and this keeps the moisture in the bread, so it's not like your normal, everyday, dried, hard, gluten-free bread. You can use a 9x5 pan to spray it down, but this is the one I'm going to use, and what I'm going to do is just spray some olive oil spray in here so the parchment paper can stick, and then I've got holes punched out in my parchment paper. So I'll show you this in just a minute. Okay, so I sprayed the sides down, and I had already measured and cut out the squares for the parchment paper. So we're just going to set this aside, and we're going to go ahead and get our ingredients together. I am using my KitchenAid mixer, so you can use a hand mixer, you can mix it all by hand, whatever you choose. But the ingredients are 3 cups of flour. If your flour does not have xanthan gum in it, you're going to want to add 2 1/4 teaspoons. With 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast. I'm using this, so 1 packet is 2 1/4 teaspoons. We're going to use 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, 2 tablespoons of honey, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 1/2 cups of warm water, not too hot because it'll kill the yeast, but it needs to be warm enough to activate it. So if it's around 95 degrees, that's ideal, okay? And then we're going to have 5 tablespoons of melted butter, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, 2 egg whites, and if you want sesame seeds or anything else on the top of your bread, get that. Okay, let's get cooking. Okay, we've got our warm milk here. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of honey, and I'm going to show you a little trick. If you will spray or rub, however you want to do it, rub cooking oil or spray your oil in there, the honey will come out a lot easier. I usually have my ingredients pre-measured in another container, but I did want you to see how easy that honey just comes right out of the spoon. once it's sprayed. Otherwise, you'd be sitting here trying to scrape it out. So what we're going to do is add the honey, the milk, and the yeast. We're going to mix it together and push it aside and let it start doing its thing and bubble up. You'll know it's ready when it's bubbly. It takes about 7 minutes, but while that's working, we're going to go ahead and get our flour mixture together. I'm going to mix that honey and milk up before I put my yeast in. It's so hard to find a gluten-free bread that tastes good and that is not hard as a brick. And I think I've come up with it. I'll set that aside for a minute. Get a mixer over here. Make sure you can see it. Okay. So we've got 3 cups of flour right here, and I'm going to add the cream of tartar and the salt. I'm going to whisk this together. Okay, now that our yeast mixture is ready, we're going to go ahead and add the egg whites, melted butter, and the apple cider vinegar. Just kind of stir it just a little bit. Set that aside. Bring my mixer over so we can see it. I'm going to put the paddle blade on here. I'll mix that up just a little bit. And then slowly pour in the wet ingredients. Then we're going to mix it on medium high for about 3 minutes. Scrape down the sides as you need to. Got this all mixed up really well. You see the dough is wet and sticky, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Y'all, it smells so good, that yeast in there. I just love yeast bread. Okay, we're going to get our little bread pan out. See, I made that so you can see the bread pan. And then we're going to just scoop the dough into here. One good thing about the Pullman pan too is whenever you're letting it rise, you've already got the top. You don't have to put saran wrap and all that on it. And you'll also bake it with the top on to keep the moisture and steam in there to make the bread better. Okay, we're going to smooth the top of this and make it flat. You might have to put a little bit of water on it, but don't put too much. We're going to set this aside in a warm place in the kitchen and let it rise for about 45 minutes or until it's 1.5 times its size now. We don't want it to completely double. And the hand works better than the scraper. Alright, we're just going to cover this. Like I said, with this one, you'll just put the top back on it and set it aside and let it rise, and then we'll be back. Okay, I've been letting it rise for about 40 minutes, and you can see it's like 1.5 times the normal size. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven. The oven is preheated at 375. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven. The oven is preheated to 375 degrees. It'll bake 30 to 45 minutes, and the internal temperature of the bread should be around 195, and that's when it's done. So we're going to get baking and be back in a little bit. Okay, y'all, it has been in the oven for about 40 minutes. I went ahead and I tested the internal temperature, and it is at 195. So let's go ahead and flip it out onto this board so it on this cooling rack so it can be cooling. Smells so good, and look how pretty. We're gonna let it cool for just a little bit, and then I'm gonna cut it, and I'll let you see it then. Okay, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and cut this so you can see it's still not completely cool, but I do want you to be able to see it. And I also got this cute little bread cutter from Amazon as well. So I like it. We're going to do it this way so I can hold it better. Okay, I think it'll work better with my bread knife. Imagine that, right? I'm only going to cut this one piece right now until it cools off, but I wanted you to be able to see. And that's even being the end piece. I gotta taste it. Y'all, that is so good. Please try this recipe and let me know what you think in the comments, because I love it. And if you found this video helpful, please click the like button, subscribe, click on the bell, and go to all notifications so you'll be notified of my future uploads. and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day.